My name is Tak Arikushi, and welcome to Campfire Chords. I moved to Toronto about 5 years ago and joined a band called Les Petits Nouveaux. And while I was in Vancouver, I was also playing this style of music called gypsy jazz, which is the music that's based off of the music of Django Reinhardt. And among other musicians who came after him, his contemporaries and all that. And so it's very much in the swing style. Jazz swing styles from like around the 1930s and 40s, but we like to give the style a bit of a new flair, a more modern flair, and so that's partly why we're called Les Petits Nouveaux, which translates to a little bit of new. And so this tune that I wrote, I call it Leapsheep, and I try to incorporate a bit more of a bebop influence, and that's certainly something that we do a lot in our band. We write original music and also original arrangements with a bit more of a modern flair of these older swing standards. This guitar was built by Michael Dunn. He's a luthier from Vancouver. And it's a little bit different from the typical design that of guitar that is played in this style. In this style, pretty much all guitars that the pros play are based off of the Selmer McAfee guitar design. So that one, the original Selmer McAfees, they have these smaller oval sound holes. Some of them have a D-shaped hole, and they're called a petite bouche or grande bouche, small mouth or big mouth. And yeah, they differ quite a bit from the typical sort of dreadnought acoustic guitars that you see a lot. In that, first of all, the bridge is not fixed to the top of the guitar, so it's built a bit more like an arch top, and you got a tailpiece, and the strings apply pressure in more of a downwards way. But essentially it's kind of designed to be more of a solo instrument, to cut and project, because Django Reinhardt was performing in an era where the electric guitar was still a little bit of a new thing and hadn't quite caught on as a popular choice, although he did play electric guitar later on. So the instrument was voiced to be more of a lead instrument to cut through the rest of the band. And this particular guitar, Michael Dunn also designed an internal resonating box, which helps to, again, project the sound a little bit more forward. Also, there's a sound hole on the side. This metal grill here is actually a hole, and so I can hear a little bit more. Like, say I'm playing in a very loud acoustic setting, I can hear myself a little bit more through here because it's closer to my ear. And yeah, that's and everything else, like visually really neat choice of woods, which are different again from the typical Selmer McAfee design. It's like mahogany with a really cool, almost like a bear claw wood grain on the back. There's ebony, and there's copper hardware too. The way I wrote the song is that there's this really cool kind of turnaround that Django Reinhardt does in the recording that he does it in, I believe, is Dinah, the song Dinah, and he does a reharmonization kind of turnaround that goes like this. Just kind of a really cool way of going from G and then to a few outside keys and then back to G again. So I really like the sound of that, and also the rhythm that he played it with. And so I decided to base this tune off of that. And so the first little bit is kind of borrowing the rhythm and also transposing the chords to a bit of a different key, so that it leads into the G in a bit of a different way. So the chords are E minor, C7, F6 9, B flat 7, E flat 6 9, and then A flat, and then D9. And then that leads into the first chord of the tune, which is G. So if I were to play the intro, it sounds like this. So yeah, the E minor, C7, F, that stuff was played a few times before going to the A flat. To make it swing a lot more, I tend to do all of this with downstrokes. So it's kind of a little bit different from the way you would approach like a singer-songwriter, you know, strumming your chords behind your singing kind of stuff. It's a little bit more rhythmically punchy, and it has a bit more of an aggressive sound. Whoops. Yeah. At the bridge, the chords are C minor 7, F7, F9 to B flat 6, and then to B flat minor 7 to E flat 7 or 9, and then to A flat 6, and then A minor 7 D7, and then you play the last A section with a turnaround again, and that takes you back to the top of the song. So the bridge, it's pretty much one bar per chord again, except for the B flat and the A flat. So it's like this. And I guess the A minor 7 and D7 are 2 beats each. And when the melody is happening, those chords are actually played with rhythmic shots. So if I were to include those, it'd be like this. So the melody is sort of where I got the name for the song of, because it has this kind of leaping thing going on. So I'll play it. It goes like this. Yeah, so basically that part, to me it sounds like it has a bit of a leaping quality, and just the way it kind of visually lays out on the guitar, it made me think of Leapfrog, you know, the game where you jump over each other. The only thing is the title Leapfrog was taken by, I think it's a Dizzy Gillespie tune, and he's way more well-known than I'll ever be, but so I was like, okay, that's Dizzy's thing, so I decided, because gypsy jazz is a French style of music, that I go with the French name for that game, which is, forget how you say it in French, but it basically translates back into English as Leapsheep. Anyway, so the melody, it starts here in the 12th fret position, and I'm playing E right here on the 4th string, so 14th fret of the 4th string, and then so that's kind of like an E minor triad idea, but with the 11th in there, so it's almost like what do you call those, tetrachords. So notes are 14th fret, 4th string, G on the 3rd string, and and then A again, or sorry, A on the G string, and then B, and then going back down on the same notes. So, and then from there, to follow the chord changes, it goes to a E flat, and this E flat is played over the F7 chord, and then we have this D to B on the second string. So that would be the 13th and then the sharp 11 on the F7 chord, which are very hip jazz notes, very common in the bebop style. So that's how I try to incorporate a bit of that bebop sound into this swing style. And then the same thing happens a whole tone lower now. So all the notes are exactly transposed down 2 frets on the guitar. Last part in the melody, it goes like this. And that's a bit of a confusing thing for me anyways, to connect to the harmony sometimes. But the chord it's being played over is A flat 6/9. So so that is kind of like a double enclosure on the root note of A flat. So I'm going A, and this is on the second string. I'm going A, G, B flat, and then going to the A flat, which is the root note. So, and then down to an E flat on the third string. So that would be the 5th of the chord. And then back up to the 7th there. So, and that is kind of like major 7th, and then also a 6th. And then right there, I believe the chord switches to the A minor and then D7 chord. So from there I go, and that is something that I got from, again, Django. It's just a melodic phrase that he used a lot in his compositions and also improvisations. So I thought that would be a great place to throw that in and sort of, you know, acknowledge the root of this style. And the first time through this A section, the melody finishes on the 6th of a G chord, which is E. And from there, the second time around, it goes to the root. So first time around, the melody ends like this. Second time around, it goes like this. And it feels complete there. And then now we're at the bridge. So the bridge, I decided to kind of contrast the So for the bridge, I tried to contrast the sort of melodic busyness of the A sections a little bit, because there's a lot of eighth notes going on in the A section. So I thought, you know, why not work more with quarter notes and half notes for the bridge for contrast. So the bridge has a pickup to it, and goes like this. So once you hit that E flat, and I tend to play these in octaves. Once you hit that E flat note on the C minor chord, which is the first chord in the bridge, that's where beat 1 is. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And right there is beat 1. And then from there I go, so that's C to D in octaves still, and the D being the 9th of the chord. So again, just trying to outline a lot of the jazzier extensions. And then I go B, D, and then C to A there. And when I'm going C to A, the chord there is a B flat major chord. So that's kind of like going from the 9th of that chord to the major 7th. Right, so something like that. And yeah, those are very jazzy notes that I like. And then from there, I basically transposed that melodic idea and repeated it, but in the key of A flat, which is a whole tone lower from where we were, which was B flat. So on the second half of the bridge, it sounds like this. And with the pickup, so 3, 4, 1. And then once the A minor 7 D7 comes along, this little kind of fill is played, and that's what the chords are matching in terms of the rhythm, with the shots there. So the whole bridge sounds like this. And then you're back into the A section, so you play the melody again, and but you play it as if you were playing the second A section, so you resolve it to the tonics. So. One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I'll play the melody. So there actually isn't a melody per se in the intro, but I did write a bass line, so actually I'll play that in the intro. And the bass line basically follows the rhythm of the chords, but with a, just playing bass line that follows mostly the root and the fifth of each chord. So it goes like this. So that's the bass line. Okay, and then the melody. So the melody, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4.